Start with roll call.
You wasn't ready.
Bachman.
Here.
Davin.
Here.
Hilliard.
Here.
Morrison.
Here.
Witt's absent.
Approval of minutes from last month.
I move we approve the minutes as presented. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is Curtis with us?
Mark Shillerton is
Yeah.
with us.
Okay.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
I'll turn my camera on. Of course, I got a glare, it looks like. I can't see anybody there in the room.
We're all here.
And I've got a blank screen here, so I'm talking to the wall, it seems like. But no, hi, thanks everybody.
Does he see
I do have a little bit to go through. Curtis is out. So, on my report, it looks like we started with the NOTAM of the canceled nighttime approach to runway 28. I'll let Bill explain what he has done, but Jimmy Hughes with the FAA's Aeronautical Information Specialist Group has asked us to update a website of theirs with some grading data that hopefully will allow them to remove that NOTAM closing the nighttime operations, or nighttime approach, I should say, not operations, but the approach to runway 28. So that is some progress on that issue, which leads to, and I heard you talking about the weld. I assume that's with the Streebig installation of the.
No, that had to do with the Red Rock.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, you know, we had brought up the point when we held the final inspection. It looks like one of the concrete foundations that they poured had the concrete spalled out and broken. I got Randy Longenecker with Michiano, and Bill and I, we went and had some time to look at it. Now, it wasn't as bad as I remember it. But Randy Longenecker said he would look into basically cleaning up the spalled concrete and capping that foundation with some epoxy. So it looks like that's something that they will do before they leave the job site with the edge lighting that they will be starting here soon. Which does lead me into the taxiway project. Obviously, Milestone's been busy the last 2 months. Milestone is effectively done. They've got the subgrade, the subbase, and the pavement in. They got the taxiway temporary paint markings down. Now, there are oils and volatile chemicals that reside in the asphalt that needs to evaporate from the surface before it makes a good adhesive to the paint with the markings. Now there's 3 markings out there. There's the center line stripe, there's the hold lines for the approach to the runway, and then there's the lead-in lines that go actually out into the runway. Those have been temporarily painted with a thin coat just to keep the pavement useful until we wait for 30 days and allow those oils and other chemicals to evaporate, and we can come back and place the permanent markings. The permanent markings are glass beads. These temporary don't. So, but they have got the temporary markings down. They've got the edges graded out and the disturbed areas topsoiled. And in fact, I had some conversations with Bill today. It does sound like Slushers Green Thumb out of Logansport is going to be doing the seeding and mulching and the fertilizing of the ground to try to get grass to grow here at the end of the year. Now, there are some areas where we're going to leave bare to allow Michiana access to the shoulders, because that's where they're going to be doing their work. But at least out from the shoulders, in between the fence, we'll get that seeded. So that if it doesn't rain, it doesn't erode or wash away the dirt. So Bill might have a few observations of what he has seen as far as the grading, but for the most part, Milestone was a wonderful contractor to work with. They paved a little bit more asphalt out there than I would have liked. So that was a point of discussion with them. But with the other items, the final change order that I will be presenting maybe next month, at least by the end of the year, does look like we're going to be slightly under the budget, at least for Milestone's work. So you approved a $1,000 roughly change order last month. The next change order is going to be about a negative $8,000. So we're going to be about $7,000 to the good. And then that will lead us into Michiana's work. It looks like, from my conversations, that they will start to be doing some work Thursday out there for the edge lighting. And as Bill has noticed, they have not really been too interested in giving us a schedule for completion. They have 40 days according to the contract. Oh, I will bring up that that Milestone went about 10 days over their contract, so the change order for them will also extend their contract. They worked diligently and they ran into some wet weather at the end that kind of slowed them down, so that's not an issue. So look forward to that in the change order for Milestone. But as far as Michiana, they have 40 days per contract. Who knows if they'll take that entire time, but we're probably about a month out at least. Maybe when you guys meet in October, they will be either done or very close to done. We'll discuss this further on Thursday, because I'm coming back out to the job site on Thursday with Slushers, who again is doing the seeding work, the erosion control blanket and the mulching, the fertilizing. Milestone, Kevin Cleet, the superintendent, and Michiana, and we're all going to meet. And we'll find out. I'm expecting to be able to use the taxiway when Michiana does their edge work lighting. But that'll be a further point of discussion on Thursday. So any questions regarding those three topics, the nighttime approach to 2-8, this fall concrete repair, or the taxiway work to date?
None here.
I stumped everybody apparently.
Yeah.
But anyways, going on, Michiana does not have an invoice. Again, like I say, they will get back into business somewhat on Thursday, and we'll find out more of how they're going to be progressing with the edge lights. But Michiana does have their invoice number 2. It was quite a hefty one. Let's see. Looks like they're...
You said Michiana, I think you meant Milestone?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Milestone's second invoice. Michiana has no invoice this month. Milestone does. Right here, they're asking, and I agree with them, asking for $1,350,969.97. So I would request that the board approve payment of that said Milestone invoice upon receipt of the federal funds, and approve AIP's 27 pay request that includes that invoice when it's prepared.
I move we approve the Milestone Contractors invoice number 2 in the amount of $1,350,969.97 and the associated AIP number 27 pay request.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. As always, with a contract of this value, in fact, the FAA puts a threshold of $750,000 for when a federal audit is needed at the end of the project. Part of the approval of the invoice is checking and for compliance with Davis-Bacon wage rates. I have collected Milestone's payroll records for the time period that they're invoicing. It not only includes Milestone's construction crew, they also had a company out there called Specialties. It was a subcontractor. They're the ones that mixed the soil that we put the stone and the pavement on with cement. We call that cement stabilization. They did that, and they were. So there are some specialty labor involved, and they also had a trucking firm called South Bend Transfer bring in a lot of the stone and the asphalt that they placed. So I've got payroll records for those two firms as well. There was one, everything checks out with Davis-Bacon wages. They've got their minimum wages and their fringe benefits for the contract documents, except for one truck driver with Specialties. I have reached out to see why the fringe benefits was so low. I've yet to receive an answer, so I will ask you, in my packet, I did prepare the report in lieu of Curtis since he was out. I included a draft copy of the letter, finding compliance. I'm going to ask you to conditionally approve the DBE compliance determination for this particular invoice. Condition to satisfactory resolution of the one truck driver low fringe benefits from Specialties. So hopefully that made sense. So I will ask the board, I will also, the next time I see Bill, I will have him sign the letter of Davis-Bacon compliance, but I ask the board to conditionally approve the determination of compliance with the satisfactory resolution of the one Specialties truck driver.
Hey Mark, a question. You started out talking about Davis-Bacon Act compliance, and then you switched and said that your review, we were in compliance with the DBE rules. Aren't those two different things?
Those are two different things, and I apologize. I get those, I keep saying DBE when I mean Davis-Bacon.
Okay, all right.
So yes, it's all about the Davis-Bacon minimum wages.
Okay, all right.
Any reference to DBE was just a misspeaking.
Okay. And then those records pending a federal audit, do you retain those records, or does Bill retain those, or the city retains them? Who has those records when the auditors show up, if they show up?
What I do is I am the depository for all the records of the project.
Okay.
I prepare what's called closeout document package. I organize everything associated with the project. All my daily reports when I'm out there, all the weekly FAA form reports, all the payroll records, all the test results, all my photographs, all the paperwork associated with this, I organize and I submit to the FAA Chicago office, the office of the Indiana Department of Transportation Office of Aviation, I also provide that an opportunity to give that to the city for the auditors that come in. So yes,
Okay.
to everybody that needs it.
Okay. Well, I would move we conditionally approve the letter demonstrating Davis-Bacon Act compliance, and that's conditional upon the pending resolution of the one exception that Mark noted during his review.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Moving on. It was touch and go. I even had my doubts at times, but we did get the grant to pay for snow removal equipment.
Wow.
It was quite the ordeal, talking to a lot of people, but we finally got a resolution and a grant for that. It sounds, to my knowledge, Curtis has sent a notice to Bain Welker that the grant is in hand and to begin the process of ordering the equipment. Bill might have an update on the expected schedule of that, but I did see that, to my knowledge, there was not a contract approved between you and Bain Welker for them to do the ordering. So I prepared a contract called the equipment agreement. It was part of the contract documents that were supplied to all the bidders. I just filled out the information with Bain Welker specifically. So I would recommend that the board approve the equipment agreement that the snow removal equipment grant is based on between the board and Bain Welker.
I had a question. On here. Like when I'm looking at the snow removal equipment list here, you have 72-inch minimum width. Is there a, what did we have them? What are they supplying us with? For the minimum for the broom and the blade.
I have not had an opportunity to look at what was actually submitted. The 72-inch minimum is a standard of the FAA. So it was either 72-inch or larger. I'm not quite sure. I did not review the bid itself. That was Curtis.
When we sat down with Bain Welker, they commented that some of this minimum stuff they couldn't even get, and that it would be much larger. And they questioned what we wanted, and we told them 8, 9, 10 foot on some of this stuff was what we were looking for.
I was just thinking it was
I
pretty small.
haven't actually seen what the bid was, but he even commented that he couldn't get some of that stuff in that small because it wasn't built to withstand a 200 horse tractor and it'd just tear it up.
Right. Okay.
So he was getting something that was more substantial that tractor would handle.
Okay.
So Mark's looking for a
Yeah.
ratification of the
Yeah, I move
contract.
we go ahead and proceed with the Bain Welker bid
contract.
contract, yeah.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Mark, to answer that question, I talked to Cody today because I wanted to talk to him about some future purchase of some mowing equipment, and he asked about this. I told him that after this was approved by the board tonight, that someone would be getting with him to get it ordered. I didn't know if that would be myself or if it would be Wolpert. So you're going to have to tell me if that's you or if it's me. I'm fine if it's me, but he did ask about that today. And then delivery time, when I asked him 2 weeks ago, I talked to him about delivery time, and he said we were looking at 2 weeks ago we were looking at April plus a month for them to get the tractor painted. So at this point it could be May, June for delivery to us next year.
Thank you for that. As far as any follow-up with Bain Welker, I would assume that we would provide that. If we need you to provide any communication, we certainly should direct that to you, but I believe the ball's in our court.
So are you,
Proper.
so are you gonna, I mean, just want to make sure, he's gonna do it, but are you gonna do that, Mark, or, because you had just talked to him, correct? At Bain Walker?
I just told them that after this vote tonight, that
Okay,
myself or them would be getting with them, and Mark's saying that would be Wolper.
so you guys will reach out to him then, Mark?
We will prepare an official, what we call notice to proceed with the ordering, yes.
Okay,
That will be from us.
okay,
And Curtis did send an email already to the regional sales manager to let him know that this was coming.
okay.
Hey, one other question,
Yeah.
Mark. That time frame that Bill just mentioned out into May of next year, does that pose any problems as far as the grant itself and like any sort of expiration date on that grant, or that time frame works fine?
The grant itself is valid for 4 years.
Okay.
So that time frame would certainly be within the time frame of the grant.
And let me ask you a follow-up. 4 years from when, right? Because we fooled around with the snow removal equipment for some period of time. I just want to make sure we don't inadvertently run past that 4-year window. I don't think we will, but just, I don't remember when this started.
4 years from when the grant's issued.
Okay, and that was when? Do anybody remember?
There is a
Couple of days
date
ago.
on the
Oh,
grant.
all right, okay, good, all right. I just want to make sure.
And I would
This is our second pass on
imagine
this.
it was maybe, I don't know, Bill might know what, I did not see the grant, but I would imagine that it was at least within the last month.
Okay.
It was like August 31st.
Okay, all right, that's fine. I just,
And then the actual grant paperwork, I signed for Phil, then it went to the attorney. Jeff signed it, and then I got confirmation from the FAA on Thursday-ish that everything was complete.
okay, good. Just since we had kind of a torturous path to get to this point, I wanted to make sure we didn't inadvertently shoot ourselves in the foot with
Yeah.
a time frame that we just weren't monitoring, so.
So, Bill, if you can pass a piece of paper around and collect each of the board's members' signature and scan and email that to me, I will get it on the contract, and then I will arrange to present that contract to Bain Welker for their signatures.
Let me go get a blank piece of white
Okay.
copy paper.
Jeff will get that
And
done.
also,
Go ahead.
I say that completes my my report.
Any other questions for Mark? All right, well, thanks, Mark.
All right, well, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your meeting in the evening.
You too, thanks.
All right, thank you. Bye.
All right, Bill.
Okay, we have been having some ongoing meetings about some development at the airport and trying to find some money for a new fuel farm and for building a large hangar. We had a meeting here this evening. We are looking at the possibilities of bond and/or PIDCO, possibly getting involved in helping develop hangar at the airport. So that's something we'll continue to work on. We're having a meeting again the end of next month with Curtis back in pocket to get some hard numbers for some things. So we'll let you know more about that. I just gave you the SRE schedule. To my report, Milestone moved the topsoil that we had pushed up from the area that was causing the night approach issue. They removed the pile when they started doing their edge grading. Dan Ringer, some of you may know, retired state trooper that hangs out at the airport. His pastime is messing around with his little New Holland tractor and his equipment that he has, attachments for it. He was out there Sunday and power raked the area.
Must have been a dream come true.
Yep. I tried to fill his tractor with fuel for him or whatever, and he, sitting there talking with me, he said, "You know how you go and shoot a lot for your pastime?" He said, "This is my pastime. I enjoy doing this. I probably didn't even use 3 gallons of fuel. Don't worry about it." So he spent a couple hours power raking it, and I spent quite a bit of time picking up rocks. So the area is all ready for hydroseed when the hydroseed people come in.
That's
It looks
awesome.
really good.
Great.
Milestone, their work has been exemplary. They have been excellent to work with. They've done several extra small things to help us out and leave us in great condition. I mentioned the topsoil at the night approach area. They also helped me moving some large stones there that were too big to pick up. They loaded my truck at least 5 times with dirt for us to move around and use in areas, and 1 time with stone. They have built a very a big one. Where the new taxiway ends and connects to A5, which is the east end, there was going to be about a 60-foot piece of pavement that was the old taxiway, that is probably 20 years old pavement or more, that was in bad condition. They milled that and put in new pavement for us. So we have new pavement all the way to the 2015 pavement where the runway, where it connects. So that was one of them things that Mark was able to work it out with them, and they did a nice job working on it. So we've got new pavement all the way to our pavement, no more of that old pavement. They have built a really nice access road getting to the taxiway that I've asked them to leave, and they've done a lot of work to improve it since they had the stone and the equipment. It's a road that I will use quite a bit. We will need, working on a plan for barricading it off at Lilac Road so Joe Blow doesn't decide to use it. But they've done a real nice job with that.
I think one thing on that, Mark, that you might want to, I don't know, I'm just thinking about the conversation we had before the meeting started about the path that used to cross the approach end for 10. I don't know if that road, we'll need to work with Mark to get that noted on our airport layout plan or anything like that.
Mark knew I was asking him to leave it, and he didn't seem to have a problem
Okay,
with it,
all right,
but
well, that's good.
I'll specifically ask that
Yeah, just so
when we
don't
meet on Thursday.
get surprised by the FAA
Yeah.
if they have some sort of take exception to
Right.
something, something like that.
They had to put in 2 culverts for that road. One of them that they put in was iron pipe that they had pulled out of their yard that they did not want to leave because they said it's pretty expensive. I was working on finding a new culvert for them. We're going to go buy one, and one of their workers out there realized that the pipe that they pulled out under the old taxiway was still in good shape, and so they were working on putting that in late today, so I didn't have to go buy new. They had quite a bit of the expensive stone left over that we paid for that they've used to build a really nice drive. They were stockpiling the construction area, the staging area. I asked them to either stockpile it or remove it completely because in a few years it would be all weeds and a pain to mow over. So they were using the bulldozer and stockpiling it today, and I've offered other department heads some stone if they needed it. Otherwise, we're going to have some stone there that we can use in the future. I figured we paid for it, we might as well keep it. So that's some of the things that they've done to help us out. I in turn helped them out on several occasions when they needed to get out on the runway. Joe or I went out and sat with radios to make sure that they could do the work without having to close the runway. Glenn was actually the beneficiary of that at one point when he came in, bringing an airplane back from maintenance, that I was out there and I was able to get them out of the way and out of the RSA so that he could come in without us having to close the runway. So we did that quite a few times, different occasions, and they've been great, like I said, just great to work with. 6-foot double door we installed in place of the windows on the west side of the A hangar for parking lot entrance. It's been a big hit with the tenants. It worked great for the 4-H pancake breakfast, and it is big enough that our Kubota will fit through the door, so that if we need to get out into the parking lot with a Kubota or anything like that. It's worked out good. The covered entrance that we built over the school entrance, we have one of those in the lift hangar that we're assembling right now that will go over that double door as well. So it's going to really dress up that corner area of the parking lot going into the building that always looked pretty bad, I thought, of the buildings because it's just 3 doors and nothing. So it's really dressing that up. We will pour a little bit of concrete for the supports for it, but like the concrete that we did for the other one, we'll just use a couple of bags and do it ourselves with bags, and it'll work out good. The 4-H breakfast, they were happy with the turnout. They had around 520 adults that they fed. They said that was down from about 590 from last year, but they were happy with it. And we did have about 30 aircraft fly in. We've already talked at length about the paving complete, edge grading complete. They're working on the fence. They were pretty much had the fence completed when I left today. They still needed to work on the fence. Was about 3 foot short of touching the ground, and I took a picture and sent to Mark to make sure that was going to be closed up, and he did say they had a wildlife type fence that they were going to still do yet to get buried into the rock, so that will be closed up, and they could have been working on that when I left today. Meeting with lighting contractor Mark mentioned for Thursday. Is Mark gone? Randy Longnecker with Michiana would never give me an answer about how long it was going to take him. Mark thought he was just kind of covering his bases because the contract said 40 days and he may need it. Randy was on our meeting we had this evening before this meeting about development, and he told me that they would probably start Thursday afternoon or Friday in putting in the lighting cans, and he didn't think it would take him more than 3 or 4 weeks to get the job done. He said that some of the other jobs they've been working on, he may even end up throwing 2 crews at it for a couple of days because of some of the other jobs they're working on. Sounding now like it may not take him as long as they thought it might. So that's where we're at on that. Can't think of anything else. That's pretty much all I got. We've been busy with all the different projects. When Michiana starts boring for the cans, I talked to Randy about boring 3 holes for me for the concrete tubes, sonotubes that we want to put in around the ramp to add some more LED lighting on the ramp. We have the poles that Auto Park donated. We have the LED lights ready to go. My summer help repainted the poles and they look real good, ready to be put up. So we'll be working on that project yet this fall. We've got a lot done this year.
Yeah.
And don't know what it's going to be, but hope to get that much done next year. My list of things I wanted to get done here at the airport are slowly dwindling down to pretty big ticket items. So going to have to start looking for what those things are. And I mentioned at the beginning before the meeting that I got a phone call from the tower in South Bend, getting contact information with Notre Dame traffic starting to ramp up for the season. Wanted to make sure they had everything right for us. Told them we don't get any South Bend traffic, and they said they'd love to give us some. So with the taxiway being complete, it's I think going to be time that I'm going to start maybe working on trying to get a little bit of that Notre Dame traffic.
Yeah.
I think a taxiway is going to make a big deal for us on that kind of thing. Put us on the map and make us look like a real airport.
Is Michiana dealing with the windsock lighting?
Done.
Oh, it's done, okay.
Done. Windsock's in, the lighting's on it. It's working good. So, yeah, I got a bill of about $3,500 for that. They did the whole install.
Okay.
It was going to take some drilling into old concrete, which can be pretty hard, that we didn't have the equipment for, and there was quite a few pieces of lighting equipment attached to the old windsock pole that was going to have to be dealt with, and I figured we were just better off leaving it for them to do the whole thing. So they came out and did it in about a day and a half. It's been done for 3 weeks or more. I think that's all I got. Questions? We're going to try and schedule a grand opening on a Saturday morning. As soon as we know when the lighting will be done, we'll let you know in case if it happens to be before the next meeting.
It's awesome.
Great.
Okay? Mayor came out today and inspected. He said it's looking good.
Got your approval?
Got my approval.
Okay, wonderful. Yes.
It does.
approval of minutes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, they did. It does look nice.
yeah.
The whole airport is looking good. I really-
What's that?
The whole facility, I mean, airport is, it's pretty impressive, really, compared to
That's awesome.
10, 12 years ago, everything they've been doing. All these years, the little canopy
Stoop over the
awning
door.
thing, that's, you know, that makes that side of the building looking better, and gonna do another one.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It's like when we
Awesome.
replaced the fence along the drive there, it just helped everything.
We've got budget to do another third of that next year.
I'm waiting for your report that you're gonna tell us that assembly of that second canopy takes you a third of the time that the first one took.
Joe's on vacation, and it's a project that he would be very slow at, and he had help this summer from my summer help. I took the high school students out, and we've already got it partially assembled.
Ah, there you go. All right, all right. Hopefully you won't mind Joe with that. so.
Working smart. There you go.
I broke them up into teams and gave them each, and the girls' team actually knocked their portion out a lot faster than the guys.
Was it easier work?
It was.
Yeah, nah, okay. But that's great. What do you got, Ken?
Okay, my wife and I are involved with a group in South Bend called the Military Network Group. It's a bunch of support groups for military people. And one of the groups is Goodwill, sponsors a military veteran stand down. It's 6 different counties across northern Indiana every year. And they have it here in Plymouth. They've been using the Knights of Columbus Hall, but they outgrew it. And the last couple of years, they've been using the Autumn Park Sports Complex. And it is now closed. They can't even talk to anybody there. Nobody answers their phones. So they are desperate to try to find a place to handle this event. And I was thinking, since the 4-H pancake breakfast there and all went real good, we got the door, would it be possible to have this stand-down event at the hangar? It's a 1-day deal.
You would have to tell me a lot more about it. Is it a 1-day deal? How long does it take to set up? How long does it take to tear down?
They might possibly bring in some trucks and park them for equipment the day before, but basically it's booths with tables and vendors, somebody providing health care, dental care, job employment help.
What you're describing to me is the deal that we did several years ago for the
Older adult thing.
The adult services
similar,
thing?
Very similar.
and that was a nightmare. It was a lot more work than it was presented to be. They took a lot more time to set up and tear down than what they signed in their contract, and they left the place a mess.
Okay.
Gave me a really bad taste in doing that type of thing. If I didn't have so many mutual friends that we have with kids in 4-H, I wouldn't even be doing the 4-H pancake breakfast, because it's a lot of extra work for us. Unless if the board tells me that they want me to do it, I would have a hard time saying yes, just because of what the adult services did to us. And it's an inconvenience for the tenants that are paying to be there.
I can say the group always handles it nice. They come in, they set up, they tear down, they clean up. They've never been an issue with the other places they've been, they just outgrew them.
Is there enough parking at the airport for, how many people come through?
I don't know how many people come to it, 200 or 300.
You have parking for that, do you?
The adult services was a lot more people than
Well,
that.
that's a big one though, I mean, the one they have out at, they have at the high school now is where they hold it, that one.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's huge.
Fiveplex,
They did it at Lifeplex for a while. I mean,
Any insight on Lifeplex?
I'm not familiar enough, and the auto
Ken
park.
owns it now.
Lifeplex?
Not Lifeplex, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
oh, oh.
I'm thinking the zone. You
Yeah,
said Lifeplex.
yeah.
I was
Yeah,
thinking
it's-
zone when you
The
said
zone is
Lifeplex.
where it's
It's
been the
closed
last
now.
2 years.
Yeah, so I think if something needs to be done, I would call, or I can have Stephanie probably reach out and have a discussion with that, I think. So the person that was managing it, since it's changed hands, it's obviously the scope of what they're doing has changed as well a little bit. They're not completely closed down,
Okay.
but it's becoming more hands-off since there's not management of it. So I guess the next best step would be to have someone reach out to you
Okay.
and have that discussion opened up, especially if it's been done in the past. There's just a number of things that are in the air, and I don't know all the specifics because I just never really dealt with that aspect of things. I just know that there's some things up in the air and some changes happening. So,
Okay. Yeah, have them get a hold of me and we'll
Okay.
go from there.
yeah, I'll get your information, your number.
Okay.
After.
The adult thing that we did, we had to totally clean the hangar out also, whereas with 4-H, we can usually leave 3 or 4 airplanes in there.
Okay.
Okay.
Approval of the runway and grounds and the financials.
I move we approve the financials and the runway report as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
All right.
Any other business?
Move to adjourn.
Sounds good.
I second it.
All in favor?
Did you get them to sign?
I give